So this is our January box, and I'm gonna just start by putting my tape down. I like to have a couple strips just to make it easy. I'm gonna start by putting the arrows to the side. They're all gonna be the same color. I'm gonna take my letters and just put them above here. And I'm gonna take my frames and put them aside. There's one that has that separation. I'm gonna take my hearts and my ribbon, and then my wreath I'm gonna put over here. So this portion I'm gonna do in Snow Owl. And I kind of like to go from the center out. I don't want a lot of paint around the edges. And I'm just doing a thin coat. Because of the brown scoring, your paint is not going to stay probably crisp white because the scoring is going to bleed through. So if you want a more rustic look, you don't have to worry about that. And if you want a whiter look, you're definitely going to want to go in with a second, possibly third coat. So after my first coat, I'm going to go in and I'm going to kind of do more like a dabbing motion, because this is a little too thin for me. All my arrows are going to be white. And all my letters are going to be Republic red. So I'm going to take my red dabber and I'm going to go in with some white, and I want to get like a pink tone. Okay, and that's what I'm going to use for my hearts and my ribbon. Okay, I'm going to put that aside. And then I'm gonna go in with some Joshua Tree. Be careful with this. This is thin. We don't want to break it. I'm going to put that aside to dry. And then I have my frames. I'm going to start with the 3 that are all connected. They're a little bit more stable. I'm doing a light coat of the white. I'm not going to go in with the 2nd and 3rd. I kind of want my frame to be a little bit more rustic. I'm just going to go on the inside. And the outside of each frame. So now I'm going to do the broken portion, you know, not broken, but it has this space here. And you just want to be gentle when you're painting this because you don't want this to break. And again, I'm just doing all the areas. It's a little messy, but I'm just getting it done. I'm not worrying about full coverage because this scoring, this burnt part, is going to bleed through a bit. And I think give me that look that I want. I'm going to take a piece of sandpaper because I want to stimulate the scoring. And it's going to give you a nice smooth surface. I'm going to take my letters and I'm kind of go around the edges with some of the white. You may want to use a smaller dabber than what I'm using. Kind of emphasizes the letters. Again, you want to be gentle with this piece. You want to really hold where you're dry brushing. And I'm just kind of going around with the white. Okay. So now I'm going to take all my pieces. These are all dry. and my frames. And what I'm gonna do is, I can see where the line is here, but just to ensure that I get my frames on correctly, I'm gonna do my painter's tape right along the bottom. Make a plan. So I'm the type that I like to start from the inside out. So this is kind of how we want it to look. You can kind of come up with your own way, but I want to make sure that my stuff is all nice and even. So I'm going to go down to this one here. I'm going to take this off, and I can see faintly, but I can see the edge of this frame on this side. And I don't want to really push down on my tape. It's just a guide. Okay, so I'm gonna take my glue. Now, if you do the tape part, you just want to get that up right away. Now, before you completely let this dry, you want to get your ribbon in there so that, because this wants to kind of close, in. So we want to get that in there. And then once that's starting to set, we can put the ribbon in. Okay. Okay, so you really want to make sure that these line up and you didn't close in, otherwise your wreath is not going to fit inside. It's really good if you watch this video before you actually watch it to do it, because you're going to see like the little commentary of where you don't want to make a mistake. Because this kind of fits a certain way here. All right, and once you get it in there, it's good to go. Okay. But it just fits. So you want to make sure you have you can even hold your ribbon down before you glue it, just to make sure you have that space. So once you got the first one down, kind of, again, when you put your tape down, you don't need it like to really have it firmly down. It's just kind of a guide. So I'm going to go back to laying this down. So this one, I'm going to have my L. I'm I'm not gluing these down, I'm just having them in place. Because I didn't put too much paint on, the scoring is bleeding through so I can see where it's supposed to be. So I'm going to go to my next frame. And if you line the bottom up and just make sure that this is pretty even going down, it should turn out okay. So I'm going to, guys, we do not need a lot of glue. You can almost do dots. Like maybe 3 dots going up the side. Okay. So now I'm going to go to the V. And again, I'm going to kind of hover. I really like to move that tape. Before I press it down. This is my last frame. Again, we do not need a lot of glue. Okay. Now I'm going to put my glue inside. I can see the scoring just a little bit. And again, you don't need a lot. You just need some dots where your E is going to go. And I'm going to line up my 2 edges and then lay it down. I'm going to do the same thing with the V. Some lines. Okay. And then the L. So my heart, which is like a puzzle, I'm just going to go ahead and put a little glue inside here, just one little dot, and then place my heart in. And then you can kind of put this where you want on your wreath. And then we're down to the arrows. I'm just going to put a dot on the arrow tip, on the feather, and a little bit in the center here. I believe they're all the same size, so it doesn't matter which one you choose for which letter. You're gonna have one arrow going. This is kind of what I'm gonna do. We should make a plan. Okay. I think this came out really pretty. Now, if you want, you can go around the edge, you know. With some pink. And I'm not adding any new paint. I'm just using that dabber that I use for the pink, or whatever sponge you're using. Okay. When your project's all dry, you're going to flip it on its back side, and we're going to take this U-shaped piece and glue it in the center of the back all the way to the bottom. And then we're going to put this half circle shaped inside that groove, and now you have a stand. Thanks so much.